to this week's episode of Success in Women. I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And today we've got a really interesting episode that may go into 2 weeks because we have so much to pack it in. But before we get started on what it is, Andrew's got her tip for the week.
Okay, so this is a little bit on, we were talking one time about the organic bag and how to keep the bag from slipping. So this is for your larger garbage cans. Like maybe you have it in the garage where you take out the little bags, you throw them in, and they're always falling in. You're always lifting them back out, drive you crazy. Well, if you use the big black or green garbage bags with the tie strings, so you take two command hooks, and I'm sure Linda didn't know, but I'm sure most of our viewers know. They're little plastic hooks, or some of them are metal, and you just take a strip off, and they have adhesive, so they stick like tape. So you take two of those, put them on either side of your garbage bag, upside down. You take the ties and you put them on the hook, and then it'll keep your bag in place. You know, make sure you put the bag in so that it's not loose. And then when you throw your little bags from your kitchen or your bedroom, bathroom, the bags won't go falling in.
You know, I really like that. It would have been handy while I had my house. Now I've got at the end of my hall, I just have a chute, and the garbage is going down.
That's wonderful.
So it is handy. But I love that tip. And if I ever have a house again, not that I'm planning on it, but you never know.
Yeah.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
Right.
Anyway,
it would be useful.
Yeah. So this week, Andrew and I decided that we wanted to share what it's called, the Strangest Secret. Now, you might want to know what that is. And I watched a video, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and this happened to pop up. And I thought maybe it'd be interesting to Andrea. And in actual fact, I even sent it to a couple of other people. But this video was done many years ago, and the person who recorded it was Earl Nightingale. A lot of you won't have heard of him. He died back in 1989. And he was born in 1921, but he was a radio host, and he's written books, and one of the books that he wrote was The Strangest Secret. And why I thought it would be interesting, it's because there is so much in this video that talks and is applicable to today's, I'm going to say people in general, but for Andrea and I, we are trying to focus on you women, helping you to become successful, that I'll say the stuff that Earl Nightingale talked about all these years ago are things that are still applicable today.
Yeah. I found it so intriguing, and I was thankful that you sent it to me, and the fact that he is from a different generation, but it all applies, and even so more now, I would think. I think back in the day, people were more focused.
Yes.
They were more goal driven, and there wasn't so many distractions.
That's true.
Nowadays, you know, you can be easily distracted. You can, lose your way very quickly or think negative. There's a lot of negativity in the world. So you need to have constant reminder of what your goal is and how to achieve it.
Right. And, and we've done segments on goal setting, which we'll be doing again at some point in the future, specifically on goal setting. But in this that he talked about, when you talk about the goals, I mean, it's one thing, and you should have them written, because if you have them written, you have a higher chance of success. That's one of the things. But one of the I'll say, even with Tony Robbins, because there was another segment that right after I listened to Earl's video, Tony's popped up that kind of align together. And when you're setting your goals and wondering why, or maybe whether or not you can even achieve your goals, Tony says that it doesn't matter, I'll say, how much money. So your goals don't have to be, I'll say, achieving so much money, because he said you have to be passionate as well in whatever it is. So whether it's a career, or whether it's to be a homemaker, or whether it's to be the best friend to your friend, you got to be passionate about it and believe. Now, you had mentioned, and there was one of the things Andrea, there was that one little clip that you had said, oh yeah, you have to be deliberate.
Deliberate. You have to be, it says, success is deliberately doing what you want to do, and to do it with passion, and to do it as best and as, the best you can. So, like I say, for me, for example, I love being a homemaker, or as I call myself, a domestic goddess. So when I do it the best that I can. So it's not only about providing food for my family, it's providing the best food for my family, which in turn is good for me, good for my family. So like as in the water, I've never ever, when I was, say up to 5 years ago, would drink water. I didn't trust the tap water, and I didn't trust the bottled water.
Gee, and thinking and mentioning water, I need a drink. I'm going to get myself my glass of water.
So
just happen to have one here.
Yeah. So my water that I filtered. So what I did was I looked into it, and I found for me and the affordability and the availability of the filter container that I wanted for my water, and that's what we have been using. So I made it that's all our family drinks is from this zero water filter system. And so that's what I'm talking about. It's not just about providing food or
the basics.
Yeah. So when I clean my home, when I do my laundry, I look for the best products. So I do it with passion. I'm happy. That makes me happy. So I'm being fulfilled. And that's how I stumbled across Melaleuca. So now I have the best products for what I need, and it's more clean living, and the same with food. I look up recipes. I look up what is the best spice for maybe diabetics, so I'm always researching that stuff. And that's what I mean. So if you're
going above
and beyond, being deliberate in becoming the best that I can be, and that's the only way that you're successful, is by being fulfilled by what you want to do in life. Because you could be successful and never be happy because you're not fulfilled.
And there's a lot of people like that.
A lot of people.
Matter of fact, I was listening to a video. I get these daily videos from Darren Hardy, and he said he's interviewed many, many, many very wealthy people. And he was saying a lot of them, and even with Tony Robbins, he does the same.
Yeah.
And he said they've got all the money in the world. These could be billionaires, not just multimillionaires, but billionaires. And he said, but they're not happy. And if they're not happy with all that money, they're not a success.
That's right. Because they're not fulfilling their
true passion. They know how to make money, but money will never make you happy. Money enhances your happiness, but it's not going to make you happier if you're not happy already in the inside.
Exactly.
And it's funny because when you say, about doing things with passion, I did for a period of time work for the federal government. And although I wasn't fulfilled being there, while I was there, I did the best that I could. I didn't just show up. Mm-hmm. I was there, I was present, and I was always trying to find a way to make my job, I'm going to say, easier and better. And because of that, during my 8-year tenure with the government, I actually ended up with 2 suggestion awards because I was always looking to improve. And when I would, figured, why not at least bring it up and push it up to the top to see. And if they use your suggestion, you get a nice certificate.
Nice.
And it wasn't because it gave me a pay raise, which it didn't. The fact was, I just wanted to make it better for other people as well, not just for myself, but for other people. And so when I did my job, I did it giving 1,000% of myself.
Exactly.
And I tried to find the passion to make it better. But if you know anything about government jobs, there's so much waste that I couldn't be fulfilled knowing that I couldn't make a change in that respect.
Right.
But
But
I gave my
you
best.
gave your best while you were there.
Absolutely.
And then that led you to, awards, like you said.
Yeah.
And until you could find what your...
Which now I have a
passion
job that
was,
I'm
yeah.
extremely passionate about. And at some point, because I've been doing it for 33 years plus, I'm still counting, it's a great profession because it doesn't feel like work. And I always tell people that I retired when I left the federal government because now I just do what I want and it's really fulfilling. But that's why it doesn't matter if I haven't made $1 billion in my profession. I'm happy with my life. And I noticed that other people, will comment on, boy, you've really got the life because, I've balanced myself between working and traveling and enjoying time with friends and with family. That makes me a success. Exactly. It doesn't even matter how much money I'm making. It makes me a success. And of course, I make enough to continue my lifestyle, so that's even better. But you don't have to limit yourself in any way, shape, or form to what you surround yourself with, in the sense what I'm talking about.
Deserve.
Or think, yes, that's a good one, Andrea.
Mm-hmm.
In what you think you deserve because maybe you didn't come from the best upbringing or whatever. Andrea and I have talked about this a lot because we came from a very, I'm going to say, what would you call it, sort of average to below average kind of, economic background. But on the other hand, nobody had anything. We didn't know any better.
We didn't know any different until we went out into the world.
And absolutely realized.
And you almost felt like there's something more out there. Like,
yes.
For me, like some of my brothers and sisters had the same as me, and some were fine and content and happy where they were. But I was not. So that led me out of that. And that's another thing. Follow your instincts. Follow your heart. Follow your passion. Your passion and your dreams. And all things are possible if you believe. And you must believe with every bone in your body that it's possible.
It's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible. That's right. Ask and ye shall receive. Knock and the door shall be open to those who believe.
Exactly.
You must believe and have faith.
So one of the things we were talking about when we, were going on about this particular YouTube video was the fact that your mind doesn't know any difference. And it's like, and the analogy that they used in it was planting two seeds. One seed would plant something really good, whether it's a vegetable, a flower, something beautiful. And the other seed, if you plant it like a weed, so you can nurture them both, the seeds will come up with your nurturing, the poison one or the awful one.
The brain doesn't care what you plant.
That's right. And so the same thing works in here. If you plant a good seed.
Plant a good seed.
So if you plant
and believe in it.
And believe in it. So your belief is what you're actually nourishing. So when you plant seeds in the ground and it comes up, because you're watering and you're taking care of it.
And you know that at the end of the day, you're going to have a tomato or a cucumber.
Exactly. Or that poison weed that you planted.
Or it could be poison if you surround yourself with negativity and not doing the right things. That's what will come into your life is poison. But if you have a goal and it's a good one, a good seed, and you nurture it, you feed your brain good positivity, positive people, read positive books or watch YouTube's positive things.
Listen
and we don't know.
Podcast.
And the goal will come.
Yeah.
And
don't ask how.
You don't know how, but it will. But it's like saying you're working at a job and you're doing the best that you can, and your boss is so happy with you. So maybe your goal is to be promoted to vice president. Well, if you're doing the best that you can at your level and the people see that, those promotions will come.
Yeah.
They'll just automatically come. You just have to be the best that you can be.
Give it your all, but you have to believe. And in believing, and if you have the doubts, then you've got to start finding ways to eliminate the doubt.
Yes.
If you've got toxic people saying, there's no way, what makes you think that you could do this?
Yeah.
And sometimes, that's just jealousy because
course.
they don't have the ambition, they don't have any goals, they don't see themselves as worthy enough to get something they want.
Right.
That's their problem.
Exactly.
But don't let it enter your brain,
No.
because it's up to you if you believe.
The minute you have doubts and fears, you conquer them by thinking positive thoughts or watching a positive, somebody who inspires you, like even watching Earl Nightingale,
Yeah.
or if it's Joel Osteen, if it's
Yep.
spiritual you want, uplifting, if that's what gets you going. I love worship and praise music. So there's a song that right now is, and I'm sure a lot of people who are on Instagram have seen it, and it's praise you. And it when it comes on, you just get up and you dance and you feel good, So if you have a doubt, if you're feeling down, plug that music in, get something going, or put a show on that. A lot of times I go to the what do you call that? The Hallmark channel.
Yeah, I love the Hallmark channel.
Those feel good
Yes,
shows.
yep.
I don't go watch
Something
criminal
depressing.
and depressing movies, scary movies. No, I want to feel good, and that's what makes me feel good.
It's interesting when you were saying about the music getting you pumped up. It's why I kind of like the Baptist church. I'm Catholic, but I used to go sometimes to the Baptist church, but only because there's more music in it. There's more uplifting
Well, not the
stuff.
Baptist.
It's not
I would
the
think
Baptist?
it would be evangelistic, like
You even see them in
new
movies
wave.
a lot
Yes,
of times.
it's the,
In the movies.
praise and worship, like
Yes.
Joel Osteen. So they're evangelists, but they're a Baptist belief, but more liberal, because Baptist you can't dance. You
Oh,
can't do
well,
this,
that's
you-
not
yeah.
Baptist then, and
It's
I
not
apologize
Baptist,
to the
yeah.
Baptist.
No,
But
they have a lot stricter rules, but
okay, but it's the ones
the
where
praise and worship.
there was a movie.
They're still Christian.
No, but remember Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg,
Oh.
and she goes into this church acting
Yes.
like a sister, but
Yes.
it was all the music, and
Yes.
it gets you pumped up, and
It
it gets
does.
you full of life. Like for me, with any religion anyway, I don't want to be brought down. I want to
No.
be lifted up.
Yes.
And I love where you get that. And I don't know if you remember, Andrea, but during the 60s, we had go-go masses, and that was always uplifting. Everybody came out of the church still wanting to sing and kind of
Yes.
move,
And
because
feel
of the...
good, and you want to do good. You
Yeah,
know, when you're,
absolutely.
if you're happy and you know it.
That's right. If you're happy and clap your hands. Yeah, I love all that. But it all starts up here,
Yes.
and believing and having that mindset and knowing that you can have all the money in the world, but you're not a success unless you're truly happy
And fulfilled.
and fulfilled. And you can only be truly happy and fulfilled if you're doing what you're really passionate about.
Exactly.
And again, it's up to you. And I remember, I have to tell this one little story. It was about this old man that was, he was a hot dog vendor. And it's the belief he had. So he thought he sold and gave the best service, the best hot dogs. And so he had his stand, just a roadside stand. And he was constantly selling. And his orders just kept getting more and more because his name got spread around that he sold these best hot dogs. And one day, his son, his older MBA type son, comes along and says, "Dad, what are you doing? Don't you know we're in the middle of a recession?" And all of a sudden, the father didn't realize, but then he changed his whole attitude about what was going on. And
We're
slowly,
in a recession, and
Yeah.
I better be careful.
yes, and he
Doubting.
started cutting back his orders,
Wow.
and he wasn't as out there, to the point where he closed up shop.
Wow.
And all because somebody planted a
Seed.
and he didn't know how to unplant that, because he was doing well in a recession,
Right.
and the son, what he saw and believed, had to affect his father. There's no way
Absolutely.
he could be a success if we're in the middle of a recession.
And he probably thought, well, my son knows better.
Exactly.
He's-
That's exactly right,
Yeah,
Andrea.
has an MBA, and he's
Exactly.
he's out in the world.
Yes.
He must know. So
That's
I
right.
better start being careful and
Yeah.
cutting back. And that's exactly what happens. And that's what's happening today with the media.
Yes.
They're planting seed in all of our heads.
Yes.
And it's terrible. And that's why I don't watch the news. I don't want to hear it. When they start talking about vaccines or they start talking about Trump and Biden, I just switch it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want that to be in my brain and start to worry about my grandson and this and
that's
that.
the other thing,
and
right?
that's all you hear all the time.
Yes.
What's happening in the world? Where are we going? I don't want to hear it. I'm fine in my world. I'm making my world work, and I'm happy in my world.
And it's interesting you mentioned that, because lately I've been hearing a lot of people say, oh, I wouldn't have kids today because, you know, and they go on and on about all the things that are going on in the world. Well, you know, when we were growing up, we were limited in the news. We were limited in what was on TV. And so we weren't, our families and our life was not constantly with all the negativity.
No.
Because when I hear that today, I keep going and I say, listen, there was never a good time to have and raise kids.
Right. World War I, World War II.
Yes, but
Vietnam.
Vietnam, you had even back when women had to be escorted everywhere because you were not safe to walk on the street without possibly getting raped. You were like having street gangs in the 50s.
Yes.
I mean, there was all kinds of stuff going on. Always been chaos. But what you said is absolutely perfect. My world doesn't have to be that chaotic. So stop letting all those outside influences in here influence what is going on with your family, with your job, with your own passion. Make it happen because it's within your control in your world. The rest of it doesn't matter. And you have no control anyway.
You have no control. It's going to happen regardless. So make your life happy. Make it the best it can be.
And you know, that's one of the things when you mention about not watching all this news and all the negativity. I haven't been watching the news or reading about it in years. And everyone says, well, you know, how can you get through life if you don't know what's going on? I know what's going on because of the internet, but I pick and choose what I choose to believe. Yes. But I'm not going to have it going in my brain 24/7 because I can't even go to the airport without news being, you know, constantly.
Yeah.
You know, one of the places I can go now, two places actually I've noticed, my hairdresser and my nail lady, they don't have this 24-hour newscast. Even going into work, they've got the big TVs there. Yes. Negativity.
They're blasting us.
Yes,
constantly.
And I feel bad for the receptionist because she's getting this all day long. And I'm like, how do you come out of that?
Yeah.
How do you come out and be normal if you're listening to this crap all day, every day?
Yeah. So this week, don't listen to any bad press.
Just tune in to, you know, Success in Women. We'll have you lifted.
Yeah, we'll lift you up, and we want you to have a great week and be successful in all things in your life.
For sure. And, you know, we don't always tell you, but we need the thumbs up.
Yes.
When you watch our videos. Yes. If you really like them, it gives us, I'll say, the motivation. Not that we need a lot because we really enjoy helping you succeed in your life. Yes. And the research that we do or the lessons that we've had in our own life, it's all for you.
Yeah.
But we need the thumbs up once in a while.
Yes,
it does help keep us going. Like and share.
And subscribe.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.